So with the project set up, let's now write the code for TCP server or handling the connection for TCP server that we are going to create. I'm just going to remove this. First thing I'm going to do is create a flag for our program, which is for port. Port will be supplied as a command line argument when running the server. So we can use the flag package from Go standard lib. I'm just going to say it's a string. First is the name of the argument. Then we should have a default value. For that, I'm just going to say 6379, which is the default value for Redis server. Then a description or a short description. Port to start the Redis server on. So next thing I need to do is parse the command line arguments, for which I need to run flag.parse. And that's it. With that, you should have the port value available, which will either be a default value if it's not provided via a command line argument, or the custom value provided by a command line argument. Next, we need to create a logger. For that, I'm going to use standard lib package slog. slog.new. I need a JSON handler, so I can do slog.new JSON handler, provide os.stdout, and nil for options. So I'm not using any options at the moment. Next, I'm going to call a listen function that we are going to create here. Let's first create the listen function. So I'm going to do func listen. It should accept a logger, which should be a type of slog.logger, and then the port to listen to, and return if there's any error listening on the port. First, I'm going to create a cancelable context because I'm going to use that to cancel any Go routines started to listen on the connections. So I'm going to do context.with cancel, use context.background, and that's it. Next thing, defer cancel the context. Now there are two main ways of creating a listener, either calling net.listen or you can call listen on net.listenConfig. So I'm going to do that. So I will say listener config is equal to net.listenConfig. With listen config, we can use various values like keep alive config, and others. We can use that later. But for now, let's create listener using this listen config. So listener, error, listener config.listen. It takes the context. So our listener is context aware. Then we need to create a TCP listener for our TCP server. Provide the port to listen on. This colon is required because we are binding to all network interfaces. You can also do something like 0000. If error not is equal to nil, we want to return it. I will say fmt error f creating listener, and then %w for errors, return the error. Next, if we were able to create the listener, we are going to defer close it. So we will just close against the listener. We will say if error is equal to listener dot close, error not is equal to nil, log the error. And that's pretty much all we want to do. That is log the error, failed to close listener, and pass on the error, for which I'm going to use slog.string, or let's say slog.any, say error, and then pass in the error. Now it's time for listening for incoming connection. For that, I'm just going to start a infinite for loop because we want to continue listening on to the connections until we are close explicitly. For that, we will use the listener.accept method. Connection error listener.accept. Accept waits for and returns the next connection to the listener. So if there's no error, we will have a connection to work with. If there's error, we will return the error. So if error not is equal to nil, return fmt errorf accept connection error. Otherwise, we are just going to start a new Go routine to handle the connection. Again, we want to do that because we don't want a server that's sequentially serving the connections. That means it will block if we don't do it in a Go routine. The server won't be able to accept any other connections until this connection is completed, or the work for this connection is completed. And that is not what we want. We want to handle things concurrently. That is, multiple connections can be accepted at a time. As such, we are doing this in a Go routine. Inside the connection, the first thing we are going to do is read from the connection. So n is the number of byte thread, and then we can call the read on the connection. We need to provide a buffer. We can just create one. I can say buffer, make a byte slice 1024, which is the length of the byte slice. And then we can pass this buffer onto the read method. As you can see, read reads the data from the connection. And if we go into the connection interface, it has a bunch of methods like read, write, close, and set deadline, etc. to manage the connection. Now, read will return an error if the connection is closed. So we need to handle that gracefully. because if a connection is closed, that means the client completed the connection and we don't really care in that case. So I will say if error is io.uf, just return from the go routine because we have completed the connection. Otherwise, if error is not is equal to nil, I want to log the error. So for logging the error, I'm just going connection coming from, logging the remote address string and error. Otherwise, I'm just going to print the message read from the connection. For that, I'm going to use the number of bytes read from here. Message is equal to string. Then we can get the buffer or the byte data from the buffer. And I only want to read until n. So logger.info message from client. This is just for starters. Later on, we will do much more with the message provided by the client. slog.string message, which is message that we get from the buffer. So once we get the message, we also want to write back to the client or send a response. For that, we can just do response, create a byte slice using a string hello from the server, write it using the same connection. So I'm just going to do underscore error is equal to con.write, provide the response. If we fail to write the response, I'm just going to log the error, logger.error responding to client. And then we can log the error, which is slog.any error and provide the error. At that point, we also want to return. I also want to return here if there's error reading from the client, because I don't want to hold on to that connection any longer. So let's just revise what we did in the listener. We first created a context or cancelable context. Then we create a listener config for creating a connection listener. Then we listen on for connections. With the listener, we start an infinite for loop in which we start accepting connections using listener.accept. If there's an error, we just return it. Otherwise, we start a new go routine to handle that connection. In the new go routine, we first read from the connection. If the error is end of file, which means the connection was closed, we just return. Otherwise, we log and return. If there was no error, that means we were able to read from the connection. Using the buffer that was used to read the connection, I print the message. And then once we print the message, we also send a response back to the client using connection.write. Again, if there's any error, we return from the go routine so that this go routine is completed. Now we can call this function here and say if error is equal to listen, pass in the logger and the port supplied to us telling which port to listen on to. Error not is equal to nil. We just do os.exit 1 and that's it. Now to test our server, let's write an integration test. For that, I'm just going to create a test directory in which I will add a file integration underscore test.go package test. Inside it, let's just do test ping. This time to create a connection, since we are on the client side, I'm going to use the net.dialer to dial for the connection. So I can say dialer net.dialer, apply some timeout values like I want to timeout in 5 seconds. So if I don't hear back in 5 seconds, I want this connection to timeout. Another setting I want to add is for keep alive. I want to keep this connection open for 30 seconds. So let's use the dialer to create a connection to the server. Dialer.dial TCP connection to port that we use here, which is 6379 or the Redis port. Require no error, t.error, defer close the connection. So we are just going to do defer close. And then using that connection, let's send a request to the server. Similar to what we do on the server side, we are just doing con.write and providing a byte slice. Now to read from the connection, after sending the request, we are going to do a similar thing, that is create a buffer and then read from the connection. We are asserting that we don't want any errors. If everything works, I'm just going to do t.log, log from the buffer and then do t.fail. We need to import require. For that, I'm just going to do go mod tidy. So that should bring in the require package. Now if I run the test from VS Code, let's see what happens. And as you can see, we get a connection refuse because we haven't started our server. So for that, let's do make run. Now let's try our test again. And as you can see, we actually get a response from the server, hello from the server. Now before I end this video, I'm going to refactor this into a handler. So the Go routine we are starting, I'm just going to create a new function from it. I will say func handle con or connection. It takes a context and a logger and a net connection. This is because I want the Go routine that we start to be context aware So let's just move everything that we have here into the handle con. Logger, that's it. Here, instead of doing this, I can do go handle con, pass in the connection. Also need to pass the context logger. Now, as I said before, I want to make it context aware. For that, I'm just going to do a for select case context.done. In that case, we just want to return. Otherwise, we will create a default case to handle the incoming connection. For that, we can move all this code from here into the default case. And that's it. So with that, we have made our handling of connection context aware. Let's try the test again. First, let us restart the server, go to test again and see everything is working. Everything seems to be working as we expected. And on the server side, you can also read the message from the client. With that, our TCP server is now working and accepting connections. In the next video, we are going to cover the theoretical part of REST protocol or the Redis REST protocol, which is used to transfer data between the client and Redis server. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, happy coding.